Hello again, this is Robert Mitchell, Strategic Security Engineer at GitLab. I'm here with Usha.
Hi everyone. So today we'll be talking about in this video about configuring more apps into your Okta dashboard. So Rob, let me ask you this. We keep telling about SWA and SAML apps to people all the time. Can you give a short description of what these are and how you configure these apps into the Okta dashboard?
Correct. Great, I'd love to do that. So bear with me while I'm just logging in here.
Okay.
Verify our favorite thing. And then I'll just enter the code to do it this way, just to be nice and quick. 8604. Oops. Oh, maybe I'll just send a push. There we go. So within Okta, broadly speaking, there are two types of applications that we have set up. And as you can see, I've just received a notification here saying that I've been assigned a new application called Will Learning. To answer your question about the types of applications that we have the terminology that's used is SWA and SAML. SWA is an abbreviation for Secure Web Authentication. Essentially what that means is that Okta caches your username and your password and passes it to the website transparently so that you don't need to remember it. For those people that are used to using 1Password, it's very similar to the way that 1Password will automatically put username and password credentials in. But Okta's a little bit cleverer than that in that let's say, for example, you have one screen that has a username and one screen that has a password. It's got intelligence about where those usernames and passwords fields are so that it can populate them as a transparent flow. Let's use Moo, for example. So if you watch what happens when we log into Moo, you'll see that it does a signing in. You see that it brings up the email address page here. Now, I'm not typing anything, but it automatically just put all my details in and logged me in. So I didn't have to do anything there. I'm not that fast a typer. I really am not. So they're examples of what are SWA apps. Now, for an example of what a SAML app is, a SAML app actually does what's called passwordless authentication. So it doesn't actually use a password. It uses an authentication token that's pre-negotiated between Okta and the application. So if I go across into the security tab and I log into HackerOne, which is our bug bounty program, HackerOne will actually do a SAML login. So it won't pass a credential, like a username, pass a username, but it won't pass a password. And it'll log us in exactly the same way, but it's using SAML as the authentication method.
Oh, that's pretty neat. Okay.
So let me go right back to where we started there. You remember we saw that notification saying that I had a new application. So when you start, when you log into Okta for the first time, none of those usernames and passwords are pre-configured. So you need to actually go into the applications and put those in. So if I click on Will Learning, it's actually going to log me in, which is not what I wanted to demonstrate. It actually asked me if I signed into Will Learning successfully. Because I've already pre-configured it, it already had the username and password in place. But the first time you go there, it'll actually ask you for your username and your password. I'll demonstrate that on another application. So if I have a look at G Suite Calendar, for example, it's got itself marked as a new application, but it's asking me to enter my password. So I would need to put my password in once. Once I put it in once, it's cached within Okta. That caching actually transfers between devices. So if you're using Okta Mobile, or you're using a different browser, or you're using a different computer, but you're logging in via Okta, the password is still cached between all of those. If you bear with me while I get this password, I'll just give you an example of how that looks. There. Paste that password in there. If I click on sign into G Suite Calendar, let's talk to the demo gods and make a prayer. And you'll see that it's going to prompt for an email detail here, which will populate. It'll actually populate the password field. I'm not typing that quickly. I'm good, but I'm not that good. And voila, I'm now into calendar.
Oh, so the second time I log into the calendar app, now it's not going to ask me for typing in the password at all, just to make your life more simpler, Rob, right?
Correct. So if I say, yes, I've logged in successfully, but then I go and click on calendar, it just doesn't. So there's no prompting there, and you'll see that it'll show the sign-in process.
Okay.
Dum, 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 dum. World's fastest typer. And we're in.
Wow, everything happened just magically. Works for me.
So there you go. That's a brief overview of what's probably the last step of configuration that you'll need to do to get your Okta account up and running.
Rob, I have a quick question. Also, can you show me how I can remove an app?
So applications that you've been assigned, you can't remove. So you'll see that I have a tab here called unused. And what I do is that if I've got an app that I don't use often, I just move those apps into that unused app area. So Calendly, for example. If I've created my own app, so for example, I've got Smartsheet here, I can delete that app that I've created as a self-created app. And to do that, just go into the gear icon there and just click on the delete button and it disappears.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Okay.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.